So you're thinking of moving to a Tampa luxury condo community? In this video, I'm going to share 3 crucial mistakes to avoid when buying a condo. Be sure to stick around until the end, as you won't want to miss any of these and potentially risk wasting a lot of time and money going through the condo buying process. Let's get started. If this is your first time on the channel and you want to know everything about living in a Tampa luxury condo community, then subscribe below and tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to know about the Tampa luxury condo market and lifestyle. My name is Nathaniel Ligon, the Tampa Condo King. I specialize in representing luxury condo owners and buyers in Tampa, Florida. I get calls every day from people just like you, so whether you're looking to move in 10 days or 10 weeks, please reach out as all of my contact information is in the description box below. I would love to help you make a smooth move to a luxury condo community in Tampa, Florida. Now let's take a closer look at the 3 crucial mistakes to avoid when buying a condo. The first crucial mistake to avoid when buying a condo is not understanding the financials. So by buying a condo, you're not only buying your individual unit in your home, but also investing in a lifestyle. So here in Tampa, I know a lot of the communities that I serve and that I experience on a daily basis have amenities like a nice lobby and concierge services and likely some sort of lounge area, fitness center, pool, or even multiple pools. So all of those amenities are part of the condo lifestyle, part of what you're investing in, and each individual owner has their own responsibility to pay towards those amenities. So typically in the condo world, we see those on a monthly basis. Now sometimes with like single family homes that have HOAs, sometimes you see those on an annual basis or even on a quarterly basis. But typically with condos, you're seeing those as a recurring monthly payment. So it's important to know, obviously, what that monthly payment is and be able to factor that into your overall numbers, but also to know what that includes. So as I mentioned, the amenities and then, some other maintenance and other things just depending on the overall community. So you'll definitely want to make sure you're reading through the condo docs and understanding what the fee is on a monthly basis and also what amenities and services that include. So that is one of the biggest mistakes I see is people not understanding the financials. And especially here in Florida, we have seen the HOA and the condo fees rise quite a bit. There's a lot of factors to that, but one of the big ones, number one is just the inflation and everything going up, but also insurance costs here in Florida. So for the condo communities to have their policies increase quite a bit and needing to, of course, maintain coverage and renew those policies, a lot of the cost is then offsetted by the HOA, the condo fees going up, and that ends up being a burden on the individual condo owner. So it's important to not only know what the current financial situation is, also what it appears to be depending on what's maybe in the works with potential condo fee increases coming up. So just important to understand the overall financial picture. And then the other side of that is also with potential special assessments. So the seller is required to disclose if they are aware of any special assessments, and some of them do properly, and sometimes that's not always disclosed clearly. So you want to make sure as the buyer that you're doing everything you can to understand if there are any upcoming special assessments. Now, these are nothing to take lightly. So these are typically used towards the bigger repairs that a condo building or a condo community might potentially need at some point in the near or not too distant future. So some of the bigger repairs, you'll want to make sure that the condo community has enough in reserves, and if they don't, then a lot of times you will see that special assessment hit where condo owners, in addition to the monthly condo fees, are required to pay their portion of the special assessment. So you want to make sure you're understanding that and planning accordingly. I've seen some situations where sellers potentially just pay that outright, other times just based on the community and the type of work that needs to be done, potentially having that set out over payments, so some sort of payment plan. So again, it just depends. If you have questions with HOA on that, of course, you can contact them directly or an attorney, whatever you feel is right. But just really important to understand the overall financial picture of the condo community. And then as part of the due diligence period, if it's a really good listing agent, then they should have the financials available for you to view. So if I was a buyer agent, I would be able to forward that to you so you can look. If they don't have them for whatever reason, or if they're not getting them to us in a timely manner, then we could always just reach out to the HOA directly, and that'll help just give you a better idea of the overall financial picture of the community. Because if it is a strong community and they've got plenty in reserves, then that helps give homeowners a bit of a peace of mind to know that if and when there are big repairs that come up, that the community is in a good position to be able to do the necessary work, necessary repairs, and not have fees jump up a ton for its residents through a special assessment. In regard to the special assessments, we have seen more of these come up, especially in the last year or so, after more laws were put into place to ensure the safety of condo buildings and communities throughout the state of Florida. So there are what's called milestone inspections that are being conducted for buildings that are older than 30 years. So if your potential building is in that range, then they'll likely be going through the milestone inspections or already have. So you'll have a good idea of if anything came out of those, and you'll want to just be proactive with the listing agent and the HOA and the condo leadership to just make sure you're aware of if the milestone inspection did come up with anything, and if so, when are those repairs going to be, and if there are going to be any special assessments, what those would potentially look like. The number 2 crucial mistake when buying a condo that you'll want to make sure you avoid is not understanding the restrictions. So the 2 main restrictions that I'm referring to in this are the lease restrictions and also pet restrictions. So lease restrictions are important to know, and this information will be provided in the HOA docs that you'll want to read through. So all the condo docs will have all that information spelled out. Again, if you have any questions on that, you could reach out to me, your real estate professional, or the HOA directly if you have additional questions or need additional clarification on any of those things. Now, you might be thinking, well, I'm not an investor, I'm just buying for my own use. So, is there really a need to know all that information? And it's a good question. I would say it's always better to be safe than sorry, especially in a market here like Tampa, where we do see a lot of movement and people moving to other markets for job opportunities or family situations, or perhaps they're just selling sooner than they expected because maybe there's a different community that they really want to be in. So you never know, life happens, things happen. Potentially you end up wanting to or needing to sell before you anticipated. And in some of those scenarios, some of those owners want to lease the property out rather than sell it. So you'll want to know what the lease restrictions are regardless of how you plan to use the property. For example, some communities do have rental restrictions where perhaps you can't rent out your unit for anything less than 7 months, for example, or anything less than 12 months. So in that scenario, it's not going to be like an Airbnb or a Vrbo or some sort of short-term rental. So of course, you'll want to know that. Also, other buildings might have restrictions in place to where you can't rent out your property until you've owned it for a year or owned it for 2 years, or restrictions on only 25% of the total community can be rentals. And if that's the case, then you might end up on a rental wait list where you're not able to rent until there's openings to do so. So I think as you can see, there's different scenarios and different restrictions that you'll want to be aware of, and that'll affect your community and that'll affect some of the sales that take place. I know there's one condo community I'm thinking of in particular in downtown Tampa where they did see that rental cap hit, and now there's a lot of homes on the market, and because it's not really investor friendly, because someone can't necessarily purchase and be able to rent right away, or even if they could, there's not opportunities right now. That community is having a challenge, and you can see the days on market really increase in that particular community. So again, you really want to make sure you're understanding the lease restrictions, and that'll be spelled out in your condo docs that you'll want to make sure you read, whether it's before you even submit an offer. Like some of my buyers are very particular and they want as much information on the front end, which is always a great way to do it, or as soon as we're under contract and we're going through our inspection period or due diligence period. You'll want to make sure you're looking at everything, because you never know what's going to happen with your situation or with your property, and if you're going to want to potentially rent it out in the future, or maybe unforeseen circumstances move you to want to potentially explore that option. You'll just want to know on the front end. And then the second thing is, I mentioned pet restrictions too. So certain communities have different restrictions with pets, whether it's the number of pets or the breed or even the weight. You'll just want to make sure that way there's no issues as you head towards closing. Usually once you go through like the HOA application, they'll ask for that information, and then if there's any discrepancies or any issues, then you can obviously work that out. But you definitely want to know before you go through all the time and the work of potentially putting in an offer, negotiating it, get it under a contract, and then going through your due diligence period, maybe even paying for an inspection and an appraisal, and then you find out the restrictions are different than what you initially thought, or maybe you just didn't put enough thought into that. So you'll definitely want to make sure you're understanding the restrictions, and being proactive is always going to help you throughout this process. So definitely make sure you are aware of all that information. And the third mistake to avoid when buying a condo for the purposes of this video is not working with the best professionals who understand the nuances of the condo market here in Tampa. So there's a lot of real estate professionals here, as you can imagine. Very few of them have the specific knowledge and expertise to help guide you through all the nuances that this condo market presents. So I'm honored to be able to do that for you, and would love the opportunity to do that for you, not just from an agent standpoint, but also making sure the other parties involved, whether it's your lender, if you're financing, or even if you need to, get any attorneys involved, that they understand the overall, condo market. And then inspectors as well. Some inspectors maybe aren't quite as familiar or as experienced inspecting condos. So again, you might come across a lot of generalists, but working with a specialist is really going to have its value, especially in the condo market. I have worked here in the Tampa real estate market for years and have done all different property types, and I understand now, especially really zeroing in on the condo market in particular, how many nuances there are as opposed to like single family properties or townhomes or villas. And I know from all my years of experience that it really does matter, and it really could save you a lot of time, money, and hassle working with the best possible professional as you navigate all the challenges and intricacies of the condo market. So definitely let me know if you have any questions, or if there's any support or resources that I can offer to you, and I'm always happy to help out. I love helping my condo buyers and sellers, and know how much value that I can add to them, and how good of an experience it can be, and how many less headaches you'll have by working with me. I've seen it on both sides, whether it's working as a buyer agent representing a buyer and just being as proactive as possible, as I mentioned in some of the earlier segments of this video, and really just being proactive with getting all the information, getting the questions answered. And if you have specific questions or need additional clarity on something, then just making sure you're connected with HOA points of contact so that way you're communicating directly with them. It's just always important to hash out as much as you can with them ahead of time. That way you're not running into problems later on in the process. So again, would love to help you out. And if you have any questions, just let me know. And I know it'll be a great experience and know it'll be very valuable working with a specific professional like myself who specializes in representing luxury condo owners and buyers in Tampa. That'll do it for today's video on the 3 crucial mistakes to avoid when buying a condo. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully this helps save you a lot of potential time, money, and headache going through the condo buying process. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, or feedback. Also, be sure to check out my other videos as I detail some different neighborhoods throughout Tampa so you can see what may fit best with your lifestyle. Whether you're looking to move in 10 days or 10 weeks, please reach out. All of my contact information is in the description box below. I would love to help you make a smooth move to a Tampa luxury condo community. Thanks so much for tuning in. Until next time, I'll talk to you soon.